So today I was going to talk to you guys about how to find freelance clients. I know that is something that a lot of you ask a lot about. A lot of you come into our community and you ask this question either in a group chat in one of the threads, or you end up asking it yourself. So it does actually come up a lot. People are always looking for clients, you're looking for income, right? So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about how to find freelance clients. So if there's any questions at all during this time, I would just want you to be asking as many questions as you want in the feed. I will either get to it during the presentation, at the end of the presentation, or I'll just reach out to you at the very end after the fact. Sound good? So how to find freelance clients. So the first thing that I want to kind of lay out there and be completely honest about is before you start to look for any sort of freelance clients, you have to absolutely understand who you are looking for as an ideal client. Now, I think this is something that we all hear that is important, but it is actually very extremely important. And a lot of us think we know who our ideal client, but we've never actually taken the effort to write it down and make it actually into a working part of their strategy. So before you actually get into anything that is how to find clients, different lead generation strategies, marketing and sales, I would take the time to first understand who your ideal client is. And we actually have a great template for this in Freelancing Women Academy. It's something that I have built for you where you can actually identify your ideal client, or another word for it is your buyer persona. And this template is a great place for you to start with. You can print it out. And from here, once you print it out, you can identify all of the basic demographics of who your ideal customer or ideal client is. But then you can go even deeper and you could try to understand who this person is, what kind of pains they have, what kind of challenges, what's motivating them, what is bothering them, and what kind of emotions they're feeling. So understanding this very first step is very important in trying to get any sort of clients. So I really encourage you to go first to the Freelancing Women Academy resource library and download the ideal client buyer persona template and get that started. So I'm laying that's first. That's your foundation of any lead generation, sales, marketing, how to grow your business, one-on-one business. Understand who is your ideal client, okay? So go and download that template. Okay, so now that I've just laid that out, I want to talk a little bit about what has worked for me specifically in building my own freelance business. Now, I want to give you kind of a little disclaimer because you have to understand that what I do in my freelance business is very service-based, and I target a very specific niche market in B2B technology. So I just want you to keep that in mind, that the strategies that I probably will talk about right now and today, they can apply to you, of course, but take it also with a grain of salt that this is something that has just worked for me. It'll have to be adopted to your own target audience, your own target client, ideal client, and then you will have to go from there. So that's just my little disclaimer to begin off with any of this, is I want you to keep that in the back of your head, that it's not a one-size-fit-all strategy, that there is some ability that you're going to have to take into it as far as reconstructing it and making it more for your own, okay? So there we go. Sorry, my phone, I'm juggling things right here. So number one on how to find freelance clients. The number one is to leverage your network. Now, I know you hear this all the time and you're like, okay, what in the heck does leverage my network mean? And the fact is, for most freelancers, the way that you find your clients in the beginning, in the middle, and whatever, if you ever decide to stop freelancing at the end, using your network to find freelance clients is one of the best way to find clients for yourself. So I would leverage your network, and I have two ways for you to do that and start doing that today. So number one is I want you to go and build a huge personal list. This is going to be a list of up to 200 people. These are people that in whatever way have a connection to you. They can be family members, they can be your mom, your dad, your cousin, they can be friends, they can be family, they could be second acquaintances, they can be people from uni that you knew, they could be people, colleagues from your first job. Build out a list of people who are already in your network, okay? And I want you to try and get to number 200. I say 200 because that's a great starting point. If you were able to even convert, let's say like 5% of that list, that's a pretty good income. That's a pretty good outcome. So I would start with 200. Build out this list of personal contacts that you absolutely have had some sort of connection with, either in the past or the present, and some sort of aspect. So that's my first step for you, is leveraging your network. Leveraging your network is building out this list of 200 contacts. So that's kind of like sub number one within building your network. So sub number two within building your network is actually leveraging your personal events within your community and your Facebook communities. Now, for example, in Freelancing Women, people are always posting opportunities, but these are also other people in the community who have other connections to people in the community that can offer you the ability to connect with people who could find you clients and find you jobs and gigs, right? So I want you to leverage the communities that you already have, for example, like Freelancing Women. But there are other great communities out there that maybe aren't exactly freelancer specific. For example, they could be more specific towards your niche or towards your, like if you're a copywriter, there's copywriter type of Facebook communities. There's also LinkedIn Facebook communities, or LinkedIn communities. I don't want you to forget about other social media channels. But use these sort of communities and networks that are already built up to start sourcing clients and building relationships with people. I would only say is be strategic about it, because if you spend all your time going to events and spending time in Facebook and LinkedIn type communities, that's all you'll do. And there's definitely other things that you need to be doing in order, like client work, right, to be growing your business. So I want you to be strategic about it. I want you to only be going into these type of network communities that makes sense for your ideal target client, right? So we're going right back to that buyer persona template. So if that person isn't hanging out in these communities in some aspect, there has to be another reason why you're there, because I don't want you to be wasting time in communities where you're not actually going to get a return. Either that return is finding clients, or that return is building a network with other women freelancers, which is, for example, what I hope you are here in Freelancing Women. So for number one, again, I want you to leverage your network to find freelance clients. Excuse me. And I want you to do that in two ways. I want you to build your personal list of connections up to 200 people. And sub two of that is I want you to leverage Facebook communities and event type of community networks within Berlin and your own personal communities to build relationships with people and make connections. So number one is network. Number two is I want you to harness cold outreach. And what I mean by that is this could be for many different aspects, not just email. Now, I've talked to you a lot about the cold email outreach, but you can actually also use this strategy in Instagram DMs or in LinkedIn DM, direct messages or messages. So it doesn't just have to be cold email. It can also be LinkedIn, and it can also be Instagram. Again, wherever your ideal client is hanging out, that's where your cold email strategy should be coming from. Now, I think cold email strategy is a great way to find freelance clients because it's still one of the most biggest ways to convert them. Like I did my workshop the other week, and I told people that that's how I found a handful of my first freelance clients, and that's how I continue to find my clients for my business. So cold email still works. There's of course a strategy that has to be built around it, and I'll do this workshop again for you guys to help you with that. But cold email outreach is still a fantastic way to find freelance clients. Now, those are two. So I gave you two today. And what I say to any person who is building their business is try not to overwhelm yourself. You want to choose no more than 3 strategies to find clients, your lead generation, your marketing sales strategies. You don't want to do any more than 3. And you want to focus on those 3 and make sure that they are absolutely fantastic. Like you are really juicing the heck out of them and you're building your engine around them. I've given you 2 out of the 3, and that third one could, for example, be Instagram or something else. But I want you to focus no more on 3, and I want you to absolutely make sure that those 3 makes sense within your target clients. So there, we're all the way back again to the buyer persona. So I'm going to leave you with that today. Those are your quick tips on how to find freelance clients. I gave you 2. If you weren't able to hop into the live stream and ask any questions, I don't have any questions right now, and I will go from there, and if I definitely see them throughout the rest of the day, I will answer them. Just make sure to tag me. I'll keep looking. But this video, again, was about how to find your first freelance clients, or your freelance clients in general. Sorry, it doesn't have to be that specific. Number 1 is building your network, and number 2 is using cold email outreach or any sort of cold DM type of outreach. Okay? Well, thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your day, and thank you so much for tuning in and listening to me chat.